All right. Welcome to our team call on February 1st, everybody. Super excited to talk about, it sort of happened impromptu. I'm going to talk a little bit about income and how that happened, $18,000 in the month of January. And it beautifully ties in with the original topic of our call, which was inviting to our coach recruiting call. I made a boo-boo and I said it was going to be next week. I was just joking. It's going to be on the third Thursday of the month. It's going to be on, I think Lindsay said February 15th. Is that the true story? Yeah, that's a true story. So it's going to be February 15th. Really, the topics do tie in beautifully. So I asked everybody to post a picture of their income. If you made more than $1 in January, I would love to see the total of your January income in that message thread. And then for anybody who's cool with it, I would love to use that and create a slideshow for our coach recruiting call that's happening on February 15th. Because what I want to showcase is not the biggest income. I don't think I'm going to put mine in there. I want to showcase the different levels of income so that everybody can see that all of these different kinds of people are earning different kinds of income, right?
Put yours in there. Put yours in there.
Yeah, you're putting yours in there.
Pretty much. It inspired me. It'll inspire people.
I'm putting mine in there. All right. Yeah, I think that would be a really cool thing, just like how we post our transformation photos, right? Like we post our fitness transformation photos, and mine is sort of backwards right now. So I'm not going to post that one in there. I don't think that's not very inspiring. But I wanted to show the income as well. So I think that'll be really, really cool. In terms of my income, wow, I have not shared it with you guys in a really long time because there were a lot of people who were really surprised by it. Sorry, like I haven't been talking about it. And like last year, having taken as much time off as I did, like you guys, it would have been quite a bit more after 5 years in business had I continued the momentum that I generated in 2016. However, I'm like, I don't regret anything, not for a second. In terms of like how that income is built, you guys, like the most important thing, I'm going to probably say that 10 times, the most important thing, but all of them are the most important thing. Number one was that I got outside of my comfort zone all the time. I did not want to recruit coaches. When I first became a coach and I realized that this was a network marketing business, I was like, holy crap. What? No, like I'm not doing that. And then I was thinking like, I'm just going to I'm going to become a millionaire by running challenge groups every single month. That's what I'm going to do. And realized very quickly that that is not how this works. But the thing is, like, as soon as I even started creating a little bit of income, I was like, hold on, there are a lot of people who could use this. There are a lot of people who could use an extra $200 a month. And then I talked about that $200 a month because my sponsor coach made me. We were on a call and she was like, I was like, I don't want to post about coaching. I don't want to post about the quote unquote income opportunity and be one of those people. And she, at the time I was going for leaving my corporate job. And she said, do you want this or don't you? Like, yes or no? And I did, like I really, really did. And it's not like I'm inviting somebody to sell like overpriced leggings or lipstick. You know what I mean? So what I'm inviting to is legit, and I 100% believe in the company. So in terms of getting uncomfortable, I started with sponsoring. My first goal, like my coach did not start me off small. My first goal was 5 coaches a month. First goal. And it wasn't like, she didn't pussyfoot around anything. She's like, you want to build a serious income? 5 coaches a month. And I was like, ugh. Like I felt like I was drowning. How the heck am I supposed to do that? So as a brand new coach, I was like, I'm just going to talk to everybody I know. Like I'm going to talk to every single buddy that I know. When they asked me questions like, how do you get paid? And I was like, I don't know. Checks come in the mail. Like I had no idea. but I did have resources that I could send them. I'd say, no, I don't know exactly how that works, but I'll find out for you. I use Google, I use YouTube, I use my sponsor coaches resources, and I sent the information that I didn't have. And I found a way to learn how. Like, hear that when I say this. I found a way to learn how. I found a way to learn how. I didn't ask, actually. Like, I didn't ask how to do this. I didn't rely on anybody for how do you build contacts, how, like, I watched trainings, I watched YouTube, I was on the National Wake Up Call every single Monday or listened to the recording, and I just gleaned stuff from different people. But the most important thing is that I just tried stuff. I just tried stuff. Something that works for Lindsay might not work for me. Something that works for Allie might not work for me. In fact, like I've heard 100 different times, you do this thing differently than a lot of people do. Yeah, it's true. But I found out how to learn to do these things. Did I always sponsor 5 coaches a month? No, I didn't. There were months that I didn't hit my target, but I tried really, really, really hard. There was a sense of urgency, if you will. You know, when you're like in a groove with weight loss, you've got like, say you've got like 20 pounds to lose and you're in the groove. You're losing a couple pounds every single week. You're not super tempted by all the ice cream and wine and all of that stuff, with a few exceptions, because you're losing weight and you're seeing results and you're like, yes, this is 100% absolutely worth it. It was like that. It was like, okay, getting uncomfortable is worth it. I'm seeing momentum. It's starting to build. So that's number one. The most important thing is that you're sponsoring coaches. That is the most important thing when it comes to building an income. And I'm going to say the same thing. Okay, with an exception. Not everybody has a goal to create a 6-figure income. Not everybody wants to see $250,000 on their T4. I mean, everybody wants $250,000, but not everybody wants to commit to creating that like $250,000 a year kind of business. That's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. I am not here to tell you what your goal should be at all. If your goal is to build an income of, you know, a nice little like side income that's going to pay for a couple vacations a year or pay off your credit card or whatever, I'm so happy for you, and that's awesome. What you need to do is just retrofit what I'm saying to fit your goals. So as opposed to sponsoring 5 coaches, 5 to 10, 10, like that was in my top 10 year, where I averaged like probably 12 or something like that a month. That was in my top 10 year. But other than that, it was like 5-ish. Not really less than that after my second year. So what even was I saying? Oh yeah. So if your goal is to create more of a part-time income or a smaller, like $50,000 a year or something like that, retrofit what I'm saying for your goals, right? It's not going to be exactly the same. And my top priority, honestly, was building my team. That was my top priority. I talked about it all the time. I talked about my team all the time. Y'all don't even know how many people are missing a positive community of people, or maybe you do. Having been out of the game last year for a while, my newsfeed on Facebook and on Instagram, which I started mindlessly scrolling again because I wasn't working, it got negative. And I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about. Oh, weird. And like people I met in the neighborhood, like the moms, it was just like talking about each other, and like so much negativity. People are looking for a place to dream. People are looking for a place to hope. They're looking for a community where people want to make themselves better, because I think most people do want to make themselves better. So I talked about it all the time. Allie came to me because of a post I did about coaching. Like, do you want to earn an income working in fitness? And she's like, heck yes, I do. Can I get a refund if I hate it? And she's like, my credit card is maxed out, but I think it'll probably go through anyway. I'd laugh so hard. So it was my top priority. It was the first half of my month. I set my sponsorship goals. I did that in the first half of the month. And then I filled up my challenge group in the second half of the month. I did happy hours. I did phone calls. Like, I'd pick a strategy for the month and then focus on this month only. Oh, this is a good tip to write down if you're writing down. This is a really good tip to write down. Don't look into the future. Don't look far into the future in terms of how are you going to do this, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now. Do your activities this month and think, how am I going to sponsor 5 coaches this month? How am I going to do that this month? That gets you sending out all your invites because you're not thinking, oh, I have to save some for later. You're not going to, that's not a thing, right? That's not a thing. You don't save people for later. That gets you sending out all your invites, and that gets you creative. If you've got this goal, it's like 5 coaches this month. I'm going to do this. 5 coaches this month. How can I do this? Then you start to get creative. Like, okay, maybe I could text this person that I haven't talked to in a while. Like I know she's into fitness right? And then the second half of the month is when I do the supporting activities, meaning whatever free group thing it is that I'm doing, that's when I start to fill that up. And my challenge group as well, fill up my challenge group. Those are like a huge part of the wheel, right? That feed into your coach prospects. But don't count people out that follow your page because almost everybody has experience with Beachbody products at this point. The most important thing when it comes to recruiting and social media is that you own it. That is the most important thing. If you're apologetic in your messages, if you're apologetic on your social media, people will sense that hesitation. They'll be like, oh, she's not sure, so I'm definitely not. Right? Are you getting that? Like, I actually did a video last week about my income on my page. And I said, you know what? I always used to get so nervous about sharing my income. And at this point, I'm like, I'm so glad to be free of that. Like, I'm so confident in what I do. I believe so much in what I do. And I know that there's a mama out there who's praying for this. And so I talked about it, and it was just, maybe you're not at the point where you feel free from that, like, perceived judgment. It took me 5 years to get to this place. But when you post about coaching, post genuinely about something that you can really, really own. When you talk about what we do, when you talk about the different aspects of it, be genuine, really like own it. When you post about your income, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when you post about your income, you should do it like every Thursday. Find a way to say, I'm, putting $200 down on my credit card. I've got this $50 that is going to pay for whatever, my Energize this, so like my pre-workout this month, like that kind of stuff. Like, I think posting about your income every single week, especially if it's like $500 or less, $20, like that kind of stuff is powerful because then people are like, oh, she actually is like making money. So don't shy away from it if you're not making a whole lot of money yet. That's super, super relatable, and people want to hear that. Even if you can't own that income post, do it anyway. Like, feel the fear, jump in, just do it, right? And then a monthly income post is a great idea as well. Like, what did you collect throughout the month? If it's $200, cool. What are you going to do with that? Pays for your Shakeology, it pays for your performance line, or whatever. Yeah, Yolanda's buying clothes. Who does not love that? Right? So I feel like we have a huge advantage when it comes to recruiting as a team, a huge advantage that I did not have when I started coaching. Oh, I want to talk about something, but I need to write it down so I don't forget. Sorry. Okay. So what was I even saying?
The big advantage that we have to recruiting.
Thank you. The huge, massive advantage that we have as a team that I did not have at all is that we have a really supportive team. We have people who like each other. We have a really positive atmosphere, right? When I started coaching, I was like, you see all these pictures of all these Beachbody coaches who like each other. Where are all these Beachbody coaches who like each other? Like we didn't really have like a cohesive group of people. Nobody worked together. Nobody really was like anything together. So I feel like we've got this tremendous advantage that we can talk about. We can talk about team calls. We can talk about summit, like events. Oh my gosh, we always recruit a ton of coaches when we get together. It always happens because people are attracted to groups of people who are positive and like each other, right? So we have that advantage. We also have an advantage when it comes to training because you don't have to do it all. You don't have to create everything, right? You sponsor coaches and you support them just like you do in challenge groups. Actually, that's how I thought of my new coaches. Like when they came in, I would treat it just like I'm supporting them through a challenge group. I don't know everything. I'm not the most knowledgeable coach in any area. I'm really not. I've never even read the policies and procedures ever. So I didn't act like I knew everything. I just acted like I could get the answers and like I could try stuff with them. I'm going to try this thing. Like you guys know, I'm like a squirrel. Like I see something shiny and I run toward it. And I've learned to like slow my roll sometimes. But like, that's just part of the like imperfection of my journey that got me to where I am. So huge focus on new coach sponsorship. What was it else can I say? Oh yeah. When it comes to recruiting coaches too, like if you feel like, oh, I'm not equipped to like give them all the answers, that's cool. All you really need to do is share your vision for this business. Share your vision. Number one, what is that for you? For me, I always talked about being mortgage free. That was like dreamland for me. If I could be mortgage free one day, holy crap, like in my 30s, could you imagine the possibilities in my life? And the way I'm saying it to you is exactly how I said it to people. Like you can voice message that now, right? You don't have to get on the phone or do a video chat. You can voice message that now. I said it exactly like that. Like, could you imagine what life would be like if I could pay off my mortgage in my 30s? Holy crap, so pumped about that. And then I asked a question, what is your 5-year vision for your life? It's such an open-ended question. I'm sure I asked Karina that question. It's such an open-ended question, and people are like, always. It's like, oh, I mean, I don't know. What? Because people don't dream about their life anymore. But if you share your vision with them, if your vision is to earn $500 a month and be able to pay for a family vacation, like be excited about that and share it just like that, because that's awesome. And so many people want to do exactly that same thing. So if you're a coach right now who's like super tentative about recruiting and you're like, I hate that, that's really scary. I hope that you understand, like, what matters most is your heart when you're talking to people. If you have people who are mean to you every once in a while, that pales in comparison to all the people that you're going to help. Like, I'm looking out on this team call, and like Karina started with me, like, I don't know, 4 years ago? She would have gone back to work. Like, and she didn't want to. For some mamas, that's exactly what they want to do. She didn't want to. And like Allie, 3 years, is it? 3 years, yeah. And like Allie was a realtor at the time, and like, oh my gosh, it's expensive to be a realtor. And I could say with 100% certainty that she is way happier in this job than she was in that job. Like I could see it in the social media pictures. And you know what? Like when we were talking, like shortly after she started coaching, she said, I prefer to be called Allie. That doesn't work in my real estate job. I have to sound, polished and professional. And so she's like, I like to be called Allie. So I've never called you anything else. But like there are lives changing on our team. There are people on our team who've never earned $1 as a coach, but who've benefited immensely from the environment, from a focus on fitness in their life, and from personal development. Like, it's life-changing even outside the money. So if you're tentative, if you're hesitant, I'm begging you to reconsider that. Look at this collection of people and the change that you've made and the changes that we've made in our lives as a result, right? Like, this is a life-changing kind of thing. And there's nothing selfish about wanting to build a business by helping people. There is nothing like self-serving about that. I could guarantee you, if I didn't care about my people, if I didn't care about, like, I know I made a gazillion mistakes, you guys, like, disclaimer, I've sucked at a lot of things. I've tried a lot of things and I've failed at a lot of things. I've dropped the ball. I've had to apologize to my coaches. Like, I am by no means a perfect coach, but I care about you guys. I really care about you guys. And if I didn't, y'all would have been gone a long time ago. This team would not exist 5 years later, guaranteed. I've seen people come in and they're like, I'm just going to sell the crap out of this and I'm just going to get people. That's why I hate that when people say, I'm going to get people, like getting people on your team. That's not what this is, right? Like I've seen people come in super like diamond in 60 days or something like that. And then because they don't care about the people. So change your mindset on that. If that is you, I'm super, super proud of what we are doing as a team. And I'm super, super proud of anybody who's made a life change, even outside the income, right? However, since we are talking income, in addition to recruiting, the next thing that's really crucial is just to look at your numbers in terms of like your team members. Look at their numbers every single week. Look at their numbers. How many Success Club points do they have on the board? And also very important as well is what does their volume look like? Look at it every single week. Even if you're like, what is she talking about? What is volume? What even is Success Club? You can Google that and find out. It's real easy. But if you look at your personally sponsored coaches and see how they're doing every single week, you'll know how to help them. If you hit Success Club and you see your coaches like struggling to get there, you'll just say, hey, this worked for me. This didn't work for me. Or here's a call from whatever that I found on YouTube. Maybe this will help you try this, right? So caring about your coach's success, you don't have to create these crazy trainings. The more simple you are, the better. You don't have to do anything like that. Just keeping your eye on it every single week makes a massive, massive difference in the conversations that you have and in their success. They want to know that you care about them. So those are the two ingredients to $20,000 a month is number one, focus on recruiting. Number two, care about your coaches and their goals. Like I've never said to my coaches, I want you to be diamond because then I'm going to be 15 star. That's not a thing. The coaches who want to be diamond because they want to build that kind of business, I work with them and help them toward that goal. Okay, that's all. So we have a happy hour. Wow, I'm so pumped, you guys. Like I haven't been so excited about a team call in like a year and a half or something. Anyway, we have a coach. I don't know what we're calling it this time. It's a recruiting call anyway. And your leaders are going to be talking about what we do. We'll talk about social media. We'll talk about the 4 vital behaviors and other stuff. I can't remember all the topics. So I want to talk a little bit about inviting to that resource. You guys take advantage of this. I paid for like more Zoom availability so that we can have 200 people on the call, and I'm expecting 200 people on the call. Like I'm fully expecting that we're going to do that. So use this as a resource. Let the experts speak, right? The ones who have built a business and have been here for a while. And it's like 100% to your advantage. Okay, so Lindsay sponsored 11 coaches in January. Yay, Lindsay. Can you talk a little bit about like what your inviting was like?
Yeah, for sure. So, and I think Karina might touch base on this a little bit, but guys, don't freaking be scared. Like if somebody says no to you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. Like you're still just going to start helping more people and invite more people to this opportunity. So honestly, people that I invited to that, some were from Instagram, some were from a challenge group, some were cold invites that I had never talked to in my entire life, but I invited. So I don't know, I probably invited like 100 people to that. Like you might invite 100 people, 15 people might say that they want to go, and then 2 people might want more information and 1 might be ready to sign up. Like you don't know, but all those people that you invited and that you had conversations with, they are going to start watching you. Now they're going to be like, what is this girl really about? And why is she having fun? And why is she so happy? And they will just start to follow you. And that's why like you need to post consistently, confidently. You need to talk about your goals. If you don't talk about like where you're going or what you want, then they're going to be like, well, what is this all about? Like, where is she going? And why would I want to join her on this journey? So you got to talk about that stuff on your social media. So for the people in my challenge groups, I have, after I listened to a call in one of the groups, the Million Groups, I started inviting my challengers within the first week or second week max, because they're excited, they're on the plan, they're getting quick results, they love the community, everybody's pumped up. So I invite them to coach. Like I send them a message. Hey, I have this call happening. Well, first I'll say like, hey, you're killing it. I love seeing your posts in the group, honestly, and thank you so much for commenting on other people's posts. It's awesome. Just wanted to reach out to you because our team is hosting a call this Thursday, and I honestly think you'd make a great coach. You're so positive, and I would love to have you on the call. Can you make it? Like, that's it. Like, I'm literally just talking to her like she's my friend, and then I'm having a conversation with her. So that's how I do like my challenge group invites. I'm just going to give you guys a couple examples of how I do my invites because that's probably the most helpful. Just tell me to shut up if I talk too much, Rosa. Okay, so that's how I invite my challengers. I invite people on my Facebook if they post, like, you know, those people that share all those like random, like their whole page is like recipes shared from other like news feeds and stuff from pages. I invite them to coach. I say, hey, I can't help but see you keep sharing all these healthy recipes on your page. They look awesome. Did you try X, Y, and Z one? I know this is going to seem completely random, but I would be crazy if I didn't ask you. I'm a health and fitness coach, and honestly, you're passionate about eating healthy and your health, and have you ever thought about doing it? And then they would write back and be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, you should, because you honestly make a great coach. You're super positive. We actually have a call happening this Thursday. You should come and check it out. No strings attached. And that's another invite. I'll invite people, like if they post selfies, even if they're not fitness related, I will literally send them a message and I'll invite them to coach. And I'll say like, okay, I have to ask, I'm sure you've seen my posts. I keep seeing your pictures. You're clearly like not nervous to share on social media. That's my job. Have you ever thought about coaching? Like it really doesn't need to be scary. You don't need to have this like long drawn out script, because when you do that, they're going to be like, what is this person talking about? Like, you just need to be you. And I do it all by voice memo. And guys, if you're doing a voice memo and your thumb's on it and you're like, oh shit, I messed up, slide your thumb up and it cancels the voice memo, and then you're okay, because that happens. But I do it all by voice memo, and I've never been timid or scared to invite. I started inviting my first week as a coach. So if you are a brand new coach on here, this is what I would say. I would send an invite to who, like, you will have a reason of why you think this person's going to make a good coach. Like, there's going to be a reason. Maybe you know they're into health and fitness. So I would send a message and I would say like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. Maybe relate back to something on their news feed. And then I would say, I'm sure you've seen my fitness posts by now. I've started this new health and fitness journey, and I'm sharing it along the way in hopes to inspire other people. And I'm really excited about it. And I had to reach out to you because I know you're really passionate about health and fitness. And I would be crazy not to share this with you because I really love the community we're a part of. And we get to help people hit their goals. And I think you'd make a great coach. Do you think it's something you think about doing? Or we have a call this Thursday, and I really think you should check it out because I think you would kill it in this business. Like that's all you have, like, that's all you have to say. So like, I challenge you guys to, like, if you're doing them like that, I know people will sit down when they do their power hours. If you're doing a power hour and you get to that, like, I have to invite 3 coaches, and you're like, I don't know who to invite. Like, you could invite 10 in like 15 minutes. So imagine if you made a goal to invite 10 invites a day to coaches, not just 3. If your goal is like income building, I had a girl that reached out to me today and she said she wants to be on my team and she wants to have a goal to hit $2,000 a month. And I said, okay, you could hit Success Club 80, right, or we can work on building your team. Because I don't know, like if you guys want to work to hit Success Club 80 every month,
Every month.
it's pretty damn hard. So if your goal is like to make this a business and to make this like your income, you need to invite to coaching. And I can tell you right now, like that's probably been the most gratifying, like best part of this journey is like my team. I love our team and like this team and just like being a part of it and realizing that like we're changing lives. And like I might see my coaches get their paychecks. Like, and I know Rosa talked about talking about income. You need to talk about income because people want to make money. Like people need money. And if you don't talk about it, they're going to see you putting in all this work into this. And they're going to be like, I don't want to do that for free. Like, I don't have time to do that. And Lori, one of my coaches today, asked me, like, how did you meet Alex? And Alex is a top coach on our 180 Nation team. And I was like, well, I invited her to a challenge group and she had a burned copy of the 21-day fix. And I let her in. She never bought anything from me. And then 3 months into coaching, I did an income post. And I remember the piece of paper and it was pink Sharpie. And I put what I made month 1 as a coach, month 2 as a coach, and month 3. And like my month 1 and 2 was like $100 and some bucks. But I was proud of it. And I wrote it and I snapped the picture and I posted it on my social media. And Alex sent me a message. She's like, did you really make that? I'm like, yeah, I did. And then she joined up to be a coach. Like people want to earn an income. And if you don't have the success when you're inviting people, like when one of my very first coaches that I got, I invited her to a challenge group and she didn't have money to buy a challenge pack. So I invited her to coach. And I was like, we're going to like make some money and we're going to help people. And I was like, my coach just got into the 52K club. Like I didn't know anything. I wasn't earning an income, but I was talking about Allie's success. And I was like, and Rosa made like this much money. And like, guys, I talked about money because like people need it. So when they tell me that they don't have enough money, then I share with them what the possibility is. And I tell them why I like this so much and that they can do it too. And that's all this is. All we're doing is sharing. And guys, if you get no's, then just like, who cares? So the last one I want to send is like, if you're on Instagram, because I know some of us are on Instagram, I did one today. I'll just quickly read through, but it literally does not take long to reach out to people. I searched today the hashtag, I'll talk here for a second about something else, but I searched the hashtag Good Life Fitness today. And then I was just like, I literally reached out to a girl and I said, this is literally all I said. Hey, your Instagram came up on my Explore page. It didn't, but that's an easy way to tell her. I was like, hey, your Instagram came up on my Explore page and way to go. Your transformation is amazing. Are you a coach too? Hey girl, no thanks. Or no, I'm not. Thanks. I see you are. And I was like, I am. I've been coaching for 2.5 years and it's been great. You're clearly passionate about health and fitness. Is it something you've ever thought about doing? And she's like, actually, I have. I'm doing my nutrition certificate and I just don't know where to go from here. What kind of coach are you? And then she goes, is this with a product like Herbalife? And I wrote back with like the laughing faces because you're just having a conversation. You're like, you just got to be a real person. And I was like, I'm a Beachbody coach. And honestly, salespeople do terrible at my job. And I was like, trust me, if you were to tell me I had to sell, I'd run. Honestly, being a part of the Beachbody community has been an amazing experience. I left my full-time corporate job, and I love having the flexibility in my life. And if you don't have that success story yet, that's fine. Like, you just tell your story. And I get to help people crush their goals, probably one of the most rewarding things I've done. And she goes, yeah, that definitely sounds like something I would like to do. She's like, so how does it work? And now I'm having a conversation about what we do. And then I'm going to say, hey, we actually have a call happening. Or personally, what I like to do, if the call's not happening for like 2.5 or 3 weeks, I don't make them wait for it. I'm going to send her the recording from our last one. So I want you guys to know, like, some people are like, well, I can't invite to coaching because I don't have anything to invite to. You have the resource. You have the call from the last one. So if somebody's like engaging with conversation with you right now and they're really interested, then send them that recording. Like, you don't need to like be like, oh, well, in 3.5 weeks, we're going to have a call. you don't need to have that to invite to. You have something to invite to every single day, and it's the team and it's the community. So you don't need to you don't need to wait. And if you're constantly growing your network and you're adding people to it, Instagram is a whole, you can connect with anybody, but on your Facebook, if you are constantly growing your network, you're constantly going to have new people to reach out to. I think that's it. Is that okay? And hit big success, hit Success Club 10, make that a goal. If you want to start building your team, the most organic way to do that is to get people in challenge groups and get them experiencing what this is. And then you invite them to coaching. And that's harder if you're hitting Success Club 2. That's harder to do because then they haven't experienced it. One last thing. If you invite them once, invite them again. These people that joined in my, this month in January with me, I probably invited them to coaching 5 times. I reached out again by voice memo. Hey, I know, I'll even say hey, it's me again. I know last time wasn't a good time for you, but I'm reaching out again because it's a new year and we have this mentorship going on and we're planning this awesome training and I seriously think you need to coach. What do you think? Is the timing right? And then if they write back and they're like, no, but thank you. And they're always thankful. Thank you so much for thinking about me this time, but it's not right. But make sure you reach out to me again. It feels good. It's going to sound weird, but it feels good to be recruited. You're telling them something good about them. You're filling their cup and you're I want you on my team because of this. And people are they thank you. They're oh my God, thank you so much for thinking of me. And that's it. I'm done.
Applause. Karina, did you have some points to share about inviting as well?
Yeah, I would say listen to all the things Lindsay said. More than anything, I just want to, put a little butter on the situation because that's what I do. That's my job. But for real, you guys, I want you guys to think about Rosa had mentioned and Lindsay had mentioned, the gift that this is. Recently on Facebook, my friendiversary with Rosa popped up and said 5 years ago we'd become friends on Facebook. And I looked at Brad. It was the middle of the day, and I looked at Brad, and I'm like, can you imagine if Rosa and I hadn't become friends, or as she I use that term loosely, we weren't friends when I became her client. We Facebook knew each other, right? But can you imagine had that never happened? Because this has truly completely changed my life. My income has provided for my family for the last almost 2 years that Brad's been off work. That's a gift that I wouldn't have had if Rosa hadn't invited me. And you have to think about that. She didn't know if I was going to say yes. I said no 3 times. She had no idea. But when she did, and it was the right moment for me, and I was like, yeah, let's talk about this. It was the exact right moment. Something I was told once is you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. So take the fear out of the equation, speak from your heart to who you're inviting, and just think about not how you're looking to sponsor 5, 4, 3, whatever amount of coaches. Even invite your challengers that never post. Yes, do that. Sorry, I just saw Lindsay's chat. Whatever your goal is, don't think about that goal. Think about the person you're talking to and why they need this. It's not about you. It's not about your end line. It's not about what you're going for. It's about that person you're reaching out to. You've got a single mom on your page who's constantly posting about how she wishes she could do this for her kid or could do that for her kid, whatever it might be. You speak from the heart to that person and say, look, I know this sounds weird, but you got to be on this call, even just to hear it. You just got to be there. And a door opens for that person. Truly, don't hold back. It doesn't matter where you are in this. Like Lindsay said, she invited from the very beginning. I didn't necessarily. I invited to the challenge group because I was just excited about losing weight and it was happening. So I was like, you should probably do this. Let's get skinny. But when you offer this to somebody, it truly is a gift. And you don't need to worry about what they're going to say because Lindsay briefly touched on it. Think about every other business out there. Being recruited is a positive thing. If somebody is trying to take you from one job to bring you to another job in the corporate world, that is a good thing. It means you have good qualities that people want to hire. That's what you're doing. You're complimenting them. You're building them up because you genuinely think they would rock at this. And trust me on this. Don't just invite every person you know. be specific. Think about who you want to work with. Make this your dream team, because then you love interacting with them. You love sending the messages. You love the vibe of your team. Like, reach out to all the positive people and reach out to the people that need positive, like, because you can bring that to them. And that's really all I wanted to say, is just that this is truly a gift. I did a post a long, long time ago, status on my Facebook that said, if I told you that I had just written down your name as a member of my dream team for this coaching gig I'm doing, would you be offended? And every single person was like, no, not at all. Oh, am I on the list? Like, people, it made them curious. Was I thinking about this for them? And like half of those people are now members of my team. Like, it's what you put out there and how you frame it and how you approach it. I didn't know this was network marketing. I had no damn clue. I had no clue. And then I was like, what's network marketing? So all you need to do, you guys, is build the belief within you before you invite, and that will translate to the person you're speaking to. It really, truly will. That's it. That's all I got.
Rosa is muted.
Rosa is muted.
Hi. All right, we're going to wrap up in like 1 minute. I just have one last thing to say. If there is anything that I have learned over the last year, it is that you should go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you should go for it. I'll tell you a short story. I promise it's super short. So we were in Punta Cana. Our family was in Punta Cana in April 2017, and I got a text from my sister. Well, I had been texting her, and I was like, is there something wrong? Like, you're not texting me back, or I mean, obviously the cancer was wrong. That was, not good, but just wondering in terms of our relationship, like if there was something wrong. And she said to me, I'm actually just a little bit envious because you have really gone for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that I could do the same. And you guys, like, people saying no, that's okay. They're probably going to come back. Like, they'll probably come back at some point. But whatever your goals are, whether they're small income goals, big income goals, like go for it unapologetically. These Facebook trolls who might say something negative about you, so what? Like, so what? Like, the people in your life who love you and who support you, their opinions get to matter. Everybody else, especially the Facebook people, like, why? Why do their opinions get to matter? And if you invite somebody and it's not for them, you didn't, like, kick them, right? You invited them to do what you're doing. It's a compliment, even if they don't take it that way. I'm just really going to encourage you guys to go for it, because whether life is short or long, it is precious. And you will never regret giving 100%, even if you don't hit your goals all the time. I didn't hit my goals one time in 2016, and it still got me top 10, you guys. So go for it. That's it. Love you guys.